I'm Kipp Wilkinson, and this is Reviews of the Nerds. Today I'm reviewing the movie Spider-Man: No Way Home. In 2016, Tom Holland came swinging into the Marvel Cinematic Universe during the epic events of Captain America: Civil War. Marvel fans had been longing and hoping for the friendly neighborhood web-slinger to arrive in the MCU, and when that unmistakable red and blue suit finally appeared, there were cries of joy throughout the land. Since then, Holland's Spider-Man has continued to appear in the major Marvel events such as Infinity War and Endgame. In No Way Home, Peter Parker is reeling from the shock of having his secret identity revealed. Peter's world is turned upside down as people begin attacking those closest to him. In a desperate attempt to find peace for himself and his friends, Peter seeks help from Doctor Strange. As Strange works to remove Spider-Man's true identity from the minds of the world, Peter keeps interrupting the spell. And with each interruption, things get complicated. Now, villains from across the multiverse are appearing. Each seems to know the true identity of Spider-Man, and they all want revenge. If you're a comic book fan, then this is a movie that you do not want to miss. Spider-Man: No Way Home is a love letter to comic book nerds that needs to be read. Well, seen. I guess it's a visual love letter? You get the idea. There were several moments during this movie that I cheered, and I can count on one hand how many movies I've cheered for in a theater. Spider-Man has been my favorite comic hero since I was a kid. I'll never forget seeing Tobey Maguire don the mask and swing through New York City. For me, that was the beginning of a deep love, not just for Spider-Man, but for the superhero genre in general. And I felt that same excitement and joy watching this movie. What I enjoyed the most was that this was a story about redemption. I left the theater being reminded that no one is beyond saving, and that everyone deserves to be given a second chance. I'm Kipp Wilkinson, and remember, with great power comes great responsibility. And hey, for some Bible nerdiness, please check out my channel on YouTube by simply searching Kipp Wilkinson.
Overstretched. It is so common in the world we live in to find ourselves running in 100 different places at warp speed. I'm often zooming around feeling like the Looney Tunes Roadrunner, moving as fast as possible from one task to the next, leaving behind a cloud of dust as the only proof of my existence. Now, don't get me wrong, not all of this is my doing, and I'm sure not all of your speed racer hijinks are your fault either. I'm a mom. I have 3 very active, non-driving children. I'm a taxi, a chef, a personal shopper, a house cleaner, an organizer, and those are just my various hats worn at home. Over time and through all the tasks, it's very likely we'll no longer feel like the Roadrunner, but instead begin to feel like a well-loved, well-used rubber band. Pulled and stretched, worn out and exhausted, ready to snap under any further pressure. I cannot tell you how many times close friends and some family have compared me to Martha, and if you're not aware, it's not a compliment. In Luke chapter 10, Jesus finds himself visiting with 2 sisters, Mary and Martha. Martha was a doer, preparing the meal, hosting, making sure things were tidy and presentable. Mary was visiting with Jesus, talking. Frustrated with her sister, Martha addressed Jesus about Mary's laziness, and Jesus told her in a roundabout way that in fact Martha was the one in the wrong. I don't know about you, but this is a hard concept for me. Being a diligent worker, making the best use of my time, staying on task, taking care of business. Are those not honorable qualities to have? Not if you're missing out on relationships and making disciples. Matthew 28:19, the verse where Jesus instructs us to go and make disciples of all the nations, is commonly known as the Great Commission. These 3 words and this one verse speak volumes of where we as Christians should be investing our time and energy. A command from our Savior himself, known to the world as the biggest payoff. Well, okay, Lord, I hear you. Friends, let's make this commitment to each other today to free ourselves from the commitments, from the obligations and the stuff, Open up more free space in your schedule for family dinners, coffee dates, deep and personal conversations with our people, not forgetting the importance of connection and relationships. Furthermore, how can we expect to make genuine relationships with the people God has placed in our lives if we've exhausted ourselves and could pop at any time? Overstretched, overexhausted, overworked, overbooked. Let's be over it and step into the actual plan God has for our lives.
This week in Nerd History, that's a surprise tool that'll help us later. Nerd History. Specifically, that tool was a shovel, because January 26, 1954 was the day ground was broken in Anaheim, California for Disneyland, the first theme park created by Disney. Walt Disney came up with the concept of Disneyland after visiting various amusement parks with his daughters in the 1930s and 40s. He initially envisioned building a tourist attraction adjacent to his studios in Burbank to entertain fans who wished to visit. However, he soon realized that the proposed site was far too small. After hiring the Stanford Research Institute to perform a feasibility study determining an appropriate site for his project, Disney bought a 160-acre site near Anaheim in 1953. The park was designed by a creative team handpicked by Walt from internal and outside talent. They founded WED Enterprises, the precursor to today's Walt Disney's Imagineering. The park has undergone several expansions over the years, adding New Orleans Square in 1966, Bear Country in 1972, Mickey's Toontown in 1993, and most recently, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in 2019. Admission prices have changed drastically over the years as well. In 1955, adults could get into the park for only $1, and children's admission was only 50 cents. Today, a ticket just to get into the park, which does not include rides or anything other than getting to walk through the gate, can cost as much as $164. Since opening, the park has only gone dark 7 times, twice because of winter storms in 87 and 92, 3 times for national tragedies, JFK's assassination in 63, a massive anti-Vietnam riot in 1970, and after 9/11, once for an inspection after the Northridge earthquake in 1994, and most recently they closed for over a year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. There are thousands more facts I could share about Disneyland, but suffice it to say, it plays a big role in our American pop culture. Gosh! I'm Radio Matt. See you next time for more Nerd History. Have you ever been around another person that used a word or phrase that you were absolutely certain you should know, but you didn't? Of course you have. Well, don't worry, nerd, because we've got some great news for you. You're about to learn something brand new. This is the real world, bub, and you need to learn to hold your own in a nerdy conversation. So pull up an ear and pay attention, because LTN has another nerdy definition for you. Today's term is meta. Meta actually has several different meanings in nerd culture. The most recent use of the word is its use as the new company name for what used to be called Facebook. Now Facebook is just a product offered by Meta. The company changed its name due to its intentions to kickstart the metaverse, which touts itself to be the next stage in evolution for tech, which will see virtual reality and augmented reality play a much larger role in our lives in the coming years. In the gaming world, it is sometimes used as an acronym for Most Effective Tactics Available, meaning that calling something meta is saying that it's an effective way to achieve the goal of the game, beating the other players or the game itself. In meme culture, a meta meme is a meme made about the meme itself, usually poking fun at the meme's standard format by subverting it. And expounding on that, meta is most commonly used when a creative work is referring to itself or to the conventions of a genre. The show Community used meta references throughout its entire 6-season run, usually through the character of Abed Nadir, who often referred to their school years as seasons and played to an audience watching his life. So the next time someone says, "That's so meta," well, you might not know what they mean right off the bat, but you can probably narrow it down because now you understand all these references.